everybody doing tonight? He's raced professionally for 25 years, winning at tracks like Le Mans, Daytona, and here in Sebring. A race-winning driver in the Master Solomon Lexus RCF GT3, the voice of IndyCar on NBC Sports, and Lexus Performance Ambassador. Please welcome Thompson Bell.
Good evening and welcome. Boy, aren't we lucky. I mean, Sebring International Raceway, one of the greatest racetracks in the world. I've had the privilege of racing here, winning here, and crashing here. But this is going to be a fun night. I want to thank you all for joining us. I feel like I'm surrounded by Lexus love and horsepower in the parking lot. You've all brought out just amazing examples of your passion for Lexus performance. So we're going to talk a little bit about the future of Lexus. We're going to talk a little bit about some new things at Lexus, but I want to tell you a little bit about what's brought us here tonight. Over the last 20 years, in fact, Lexus Racing has been competing and winning in professional sports car racing here in North America. So we've learned a thing or two about going fast with Lexus Racing over the last 20 years. I want to talk about a few of those kind of key points because they really map to what we want to show off tonight. First and foremost, balance. When you're firing around the racetrack at Sebring, you need balance in 3 different ways: roll, pitch, and yaw. And that's what we're constantly working on as racers to optimize and make our Lexus handle better than everybody else's around here. And taking that, learning that information from the track to the street is what the engineers back in Japan at the new Shimiyama test track are working on all the time. They call it Lexus Driving Signature. And it's really a new approach to overall vehicle handling. And I gotta tell you, if you haven't experienced it yet, you're in for something special. It's really just next level in terms of the handling of these vehicles. I also want to talk about endurance, because to win here at Sebring over 12 hours, you have to have a race car that'll stay with you, that'll stick together through all the bumps, contact with other cars, braking, etc. And I think that lesson really maps to the street as well, because Lexus, you probably know, they did it again. J.D. Power, #1 in initial quality and durability. Once again, you know these cars hold together. In fact, I met a gentleman just a few minutes ago. He's a service tech for another brand, but he owns a Lexus. And I said, why don't you work on Lexuses? He said, they never break. I'd have nothing to do. So they've done it once again at Lexus. It's again what we learn on the track that maps to the street. And then let's talk about horsepower. Like this nice bulge right here coming through the hood. Simply put, horsepower helps us win races. The easiest way to go fast is just add more power. And on our RCF GT3s that you'll see racing tomorrow, we have that horsepower, that 5-liter V8. We compete, remember, against V6 turbos, V10 normally aspirated race cars. And think about this, in our category in IMSA, there are 8 manufacturers competing. That includes Ferrari, Porsche, Lamborghini, Mercedes-Benz, Aston Martin. Last year there was 11 races in the championship. We won 4 of them. So that was a huge accomplishment for Lexus Racing. It also led to some really unhappy manufacturers in the rest of the paddock, but we did it with horsepower. And it's not every day that you get to unveil a model that has close to 500 horsepower. And as you know, with the IS 500 that was launched just a few weeks ago, it's a special occasion that we're cramming a powerful V8 in the 4-door sedan, and we wanted to commemorate that with something special. So what we're going to share tonight, I think, really celebrates not only where we are right now with Lexus Performance, but where things are going. So ladies, please join me. Big round of applause. Lot to talk about. with this new vehicle, but you're looking at the 2022 Lexus IS 500 F Sport Performance Launch Edition. Just one of 500 examples that'll be offered. And there's some key things that differentiate the Launch Edition from the IS 500. So let's talk about those. It starts with the color. How could you miss it? Incognito. And I think it's fitting for a street sleeper like this. All 500 examples will be in this incognito, paired with these gorgeous matte black BBS wheels, 19-inch forged alloy, 7-spoke wheels. And then inside, some really neat differentiators. Starts with the ultra suede interior. You'll see that on the seats, black and gray treatment on the seats, the door trim, and the center console. And then just in front of the center console with the shifter, you'll find a little placard that actually serializes and commemorates where you sit in the production run of 500 units. So a lot of special things going on right there. You know, I had a chance to drive this car over the last 2 days here at Sebring, and my initial impressions were really pretty profound in terms of ride control. This is an incredibly bumpy circuit. In fact, I brought the film crew out. Right behind you here is turn 1. It's one of the fastest corners on the track. It's super bumpy. Let's not forget this was a World War II Air Force base, you know, way back in 1942, and that surface has not been changed since 1942. So super bumpy, big concrete separations. And I had the film crew low on the ground. Bruce somewhere here will remember this. And I said, I want you to get low and get me firing and off into turn 1 at full speed. You'll see the car moving around and jumping and bucking. And the reality is none of that happened. We didn't even use the shot because the ride control quality was so exceptional through there that it soaked up all of the bumps and did a really good job with all of that. It's important to note also that this is the first in the F Sport Performance line. So it's not an ISF, and it was never meant to be. This really sits above F Sport, but below being a pure F car. We'll get into some of that information a little bit later. But one of the neat things about F Sport, I think, is a renewed passion for attention to detail and finding opportunities to really holistically look at the vehicle and find opportunities to make everything a little bit better. There's a couple of things that I think we can point out, but I think most importantly is weight savings. We're joined tonight by a very special guest, Mr. Cooper Erickson. Cooper, where are you? Saw you earlier. There he is, Group Vice President for Product Planning and Strategy. And among Cooper's many responsibilities is making sure that this IS 500 Launch Edition is maximized every way possible. And one of the fun things, check this out. Lug bolts instead of lug nuts. Seems like kind of a minor thing, but all you Lexus enthusiasts can appreciate that a lug bolt only has ever been seen on a Lexus product with the LFA. It saves about 1.5 pounds, Cooper, on each wheel. The BBS wheels add another 4 pounds of weight savings. So all told, about 20 pounds of unsprung weight are realized just through the lug bolt usage and the lightened wheels. That makes a big difference when you're out on the racetrack. So I just love little nuggets like that. It just shows you how relentless the team is at pursuing optimization with the car.